Good evening, traders, and welcome to a StockX weekly market review. So, in today's session, we're going to be going over our predictions, the outcome, and things you need to know about going into this trading week. This trading week is a fresh month. We're at the beginning of December, and we're preparing for a potential Christmas rally. Now, this rally can come at any moment, but based on what's happening in the market, the ongoing news, the catalyst seem to be setting up for itself. Now, in today's video, we're going to be going over different scenarios. You guys have witnessed many times that we have called the top or the bottom with our trading model. And today we want to basically do this live for you and show it before it happens. Okay, so we spent a lot of time making these levels here. I still actually got more stocks to review. But if you guys notice, this week actually I provided a lot of analysis on my Twitter page. Okay, we normally only give 3 charts every week, but we did more than 10, and we posted it for your guys' review to showcase the model because with Black Friday and stuff being happening this week, we wanted to make sure that our community gets some sort of favorable treatment with regards to information. So since we provided all that information, it's going to be timestamped and you can see for your review. Okay, so now I want to talk about the things in detail. Okay, so we didn't post this on Twitter, but our estimated weekly high on SPX is around 6115 and our low is 5975 here. Okay, what you'll notice here on our chart and analysis here is that there's a major chop range between SPX until it breaks through 6076. Okay, so this is going to be a major level in the market today. It's another new all-time highs. But as you guys can see here, the market does look like it's potentially moving higher. There's a golden cross here. So it does look like there's a lot of strength and momentum in today's market here. Okay, but there's a lot of news that we also want to share with you as well. So with this week, we have mainly the job reports in terms of the main economic catalysts that is happening this week. So there's not a lot of details about that, and the job reports I've mentioned many times are more important than the actual CPI inflation reports. Reason being is that because we're in a decreasing interest rate environment, and with that being said, the market cares about how strong the economy is and how strong jobs are. So as we know, and if you guys look through this personally, if you guys notice in the shopping centers, the shopping has been very, very busy lately. I haven't seen any sign of weakness in consumer demand personally. So every time when I'm, doing my own thing, personally, I always look at the market in my own field of view to get an understanding, does this really make sense? So consumer spending is very high, and I personally think that we may get some updates on the overall Black Friday sales, which can drive the retail stocks, which will overall cause a Santa rally here. Okay. Now, even though in the past it has been very common that the markets tend to rip during this time, you want to be very cautious, especially if you start to get into these bearish breakdown modes. Okay, so our equivalent to SPX top here is at 610. Okay, so as you guys can see, 610 here. We gave this analysis yesterday, and here are the significant. We spoke about the main event with the job reports, and we also got the interest rate announcement. The overall is a strong buy, technical analysis, and you can see that over there. In terms of QQQ, we have a top at this at 518. If it really gets through 5114 and out of this chop range. So when you're trading in the chop range, you pretty much want to scalp it and trade fast. You can see there's a potential golden cross that's going to be set up here. So if techs really start to explode, you can see that start to move here. Now the main thing that can really explode the techs is that Tuesday is going to be an important day. You got Marvell earnings, which is a semiconductor stock, and you got the Salesforce earnings. So if cloud and those stocks are good, you could probably see Microsoft rip. You could probably see Apple rip, which in turn can drive QQQ higher. So keep an eye on these levels. We also posted this on Twitter here. So for Tesla here, we're looking at Tesla and seeing it's up around 2% pre-market here. Currently hanging around this 350 zone. So if Tesla can really get through 365, it can really start to explode here. Now, looking at the premiums wise, you can see that the 360 call is going for around $4 based on last close here. So they may potentially open around $5 to $6. Okay. So if the 360 calls gets through $10, it's very possible it can start to run going forward here. So we're going to be looking at that in great detail. Furthermore, the 380 calls on Tesla are pretty much up there as well. Those last closed at around 1.33. If you guys are looking to get a small lotto on that, pretty much would work around 50 cents or so. It's very far out there, but if you do want a lotto, I wouldn't pay more than $1 for that. Okay, so NVIDIA here, we have our estimated weekly high at 147 here. Now, the thing about NVIDIA here is that they're expected to have high chip volume with their Blackwell chips based on their earnings call and details. Okay, so with our estimated weekly high being around 140 here, it can really start to break out as soon as it gets through 145 here. So watch to see if that happens today. There's a lot of chop around this range here. One thing that we have been noticing as well is that semiconductors had a very nice Friday last close here. Okay, so with the 147 closing around 30 cents last close here, we might see a potential ramp up in the semiconductor stocks if there is another day. Now, NVIDIA also has two major catalysts. Okay, so there's this UPST conference that's happening on December 3rd, and this is a Tuesday. We want to see if NVIDIA announces any sort of information. I'm not sure if Jensen is going to speak at all, but if there is information on NVIDIA or whatever the case is, you can really start to see this move here. We don't want to see NVIDIA break below 132 because this was our last week's number as well. And it's proven to be a strong support here as well too. So if you do see NVIDIA gap down here, most likely it's going to hit our estimated weekly low at around 130. So we're watching that. Marvell reports earnings, which is another major catalyst for NVIDIA. So NVIDIA has a lot of things going on. The 147 calls was at 30 cents. It's a decent lotto there, but if it does really get through, then it has a potential. The 147 calls can get to around, I would say, if it gets through 80 cents here, it's very possible it can get to 1.5. So that's a potential 200 to 300% return. So look to see if the premiums on this are pretty cheap and the 147 still holds between 20 and 50 cents, you can pretty much see the 147 look very good. But it has to really get through this chop range 142 to really start going here. Okay, our next stock here is AMD. Personally, I don't see any favorable momentum on the stock here. I think the stock is going to be range bound and not really something that I see play worthy, right? So if semiconductors are exploding and AMD is moving here, you're better off playing something else. Like AMD, I'm pretty sure can move higher, but you have a better opportunity to make money off other trades. Okay, so trading is all about using your capital efficiently and putting in the players that are going to give you the best bang for your buck. And currently, I don't see AMD doing that because it has been range bound since its last earnings report, which was a miss on around October the 30th. So it has been pretty much dwindling. You can see this range between 140 and 130-ish. It's been trading. So not really something I plan to keep an eye on. But ASML, on the other hand, this here, very strong Friday. It managed to move up for the very first time here. Now what we're looking for ASML, can it get back above 700? Okay, so our estimated weekly high on this is 720. If we do start to see this breakthrough 720, it can really start to run. And calls can make sense at that point. What I'm looking for is on Monday, if it can get through 704 level 1 bullish, that will be a key sign as well. And the US news that came that they're looking to ease restrictions on semiconductor stocks to China was the main driver on that pop here. So if these semiconductor stocks have a second day, then it's very possible that ASML is going to be a nice runner up and you might see those start to move. You got Broadcom here as well that has potential, especially if you can get through our estimated weekly high 172.5. So if it really gets through there, it can start to really break up. It's very possible. It looks like it has a rebound here. There's a lot of supports here, so let's see if that can start to move. You really want to see the chips move in tandem this week in order for the market to really rip. Okay, so ARM semiconductors, we're all watching this together. Our top is 142 on there, but if everything is good and Marvell earnings good, this could probably explode here. So this will be an interesting play around 142. You could play, 145 call or whatever the case is, and that could pretty much explode. SMCI, this is a pretty much a harder trade that's purely based on the news. So even if semiconductors are rallying right now, I don't think this is going to move until it can get confirmation that they're done their audit and they're no longer at risk of being delisted off the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. Okay, so that's going to be a very, very important thing. The stock is not worthy to really look at until the news hits. I know a lot of the traders have been playing this stock because of its immense volatility, but it's not really something that I like personally to play. But since a lot of people like to review this, I definitely provide it. So Coinbase, right now, crypto, there's a watch party going on to see if it hits 100K. Coin has more influence based on the crypto overall regulation. You have been seeing the XRP move. You have been seeing a lot of people get into the crypto space and they're buying crypto. Okay, so our estimated weekly high in this is 330, which pretty much is a range bound level here because its all-time highs was above that. So if it can get through 330, that's when you know it has potential at the 355 call. So that will pretty much go. The thing about coin here is that premiums are very expensive. The 350 calls was around $2 here, and it has been going very significantly. If you guys look at the call premiums, they are down around 60% since the last close here. So the call premiums have been losing a lot of potential. And if coin stays in this chop range here, it will even lose even more premium. So personally, I would want to give this a little bit more time and see if the 330 calls, which is our estimated weekly high, gets under. Currently, it's at 3.85 on the ask based on the last close. We want to see if that can get to 1 and potentially consider, because if it gets to 1 and you have, let's just say, 3 to 2 days left till maturity, then it may definitely make sense. Now, another request I got a lot was MSTR. So this here is trading around 400 pre-market here, and our estimated top on this is 492. Another stock that has insane premiums. Okay, so when it has insane premiums, it pretty much attracts a lot of call buyers and call sellers. There's a lot of premium sellers here. So what we need to really see is if MSTR can get through that 420 and get through that chop range so it can start hitting these bullish inflection points. Okay, we want to see if the premiums can pretty much hold and it can continue to move higher. Another important thing is the Nasdaq inclusion. Okay, so this is pure speculation, but this stock here is most likely to be added into the Nasdaq 100, and that may give it some fuel. So even if crypto doesn't really move, this inclusion in itself will cause a positive aspect to the stock itself. You can see here that it looks like there's a potential death cross setting up here, but let's see if it starts to move off that expectations. Now, a lot of people don't know this. So unlike most traders and most service providers that give you information, I actually provide the ranges, the tops and the bottoms, and we managed to really, really find the tops and the bottoms of many different stocks. So besides all that, I also give information that no one really looks at. So I dig deep, and if you go to the Microsoft website, you'll see that there's a potential shareholder vote on Bitcoin. It's expected to happen on the end of the week here, so on Saturday. So if this vote comes through and Microsoft buys Bitcoin, that will drive Bitcoin higher, which therefore will also drive the overall stock price of MSTR. So be aware of that. It's a huge catalyst, and I believe they're likely to vote in favor of that. Okay, I mean, what company wouldn't, right? So Snow earnings was great. had a massive run up, but you know, sometimes they, after a stock has a major move, it may go to the penalty box here. So we want to see if it can get through 180, 183. It's where I would like to get those calls pretty much. So as many of you guys want to know how this model works, when it hits level 2 bullish or level 2 bearish, that's when you know the trend has been confirmed. Okay, so what you normally can do here is that when it hits this level 2 inflection point, you never want to pay high of the day premiums. You wait for a potential pullback, which you can jump back in and play this back to the upside. So we're looking at that. Eli Lilly is another stock that I have on my watch list. I didn't show this on Twitter, but we can see that it has potential move toward the upside here, and Upstart and a lot of other stocks. Okay, so I'll end it off there because pretty much we stopped at Snow on the Twitter feed, and I want to show you guys, this is time-stamped information. So I'm giving you guys the bullish breakout range, I'm giving you guys the chop ranges, and this information here is how we dictate our trading. You know, when it's in the chop range, we pretty much wait for the level to come to us. When it's in a bullish breakout or bearish breakout range, we know exactly what to do because we prepared ahead in time for this. There's over 20 plus stocks that we have. We have all the numbers that alert us and so forth. And with this information, if you guys know how the model works, each level has a specific meaning. Level 1 bullish is usually the gatekeeper to the top. And based on how the premium is being priced, if it's overpriced, we know we could play a put off that. If it's underpriced, we could buy a call. And same thing works with the bearish levels. Level 3 is a great opportunity to play reversals. And lately, I've been pretty much growing my equity account by buying my estimated weekly lows. Last time I bought Eli Lilly shares at 720. This stock managed to really explode. This was on the 11th. So as you guys can see, this was our estimated weekly low. We bought 200 shares of Snow. As you guys can see, it's at 174. We did sell those, but it's either, regardless, still amazing profits. We had MSTR as well, and we continue to do that as well. Okay, so we had Netflix at around 869, and as you guys can see, it's slight. I believe it should be. Yeah, so it's a little bit higher than that. Okay, so by buying these at our estimated weekly lows, it's a great opportunity to build your equity account. This is last week's numbers, by the way. We didn't do Netflix yet, but this is how we grow our accounts and our equity portfolios as well. So besides using that information for option trading only, you can always use it for equity trading. You can write puts and calls. You can do many different things, and you even could do spreads. I have a lot of people in the room that actually, at my estimated weekly highs, that's where they start to write premiums and they bank off that as well. So many different things you can do. And if you're running a portfolio, you can even use that estimated weekly high here as a place to sell your stock if you want to, or take profit. Okay, so that's all I got for you guys right now. Hope you guys enjoyed this market update and appreciate the information that we provide. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one, and like always, let's get that money.